The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Sciforror Film Podcast. I'm Andy Walker and I'm joined as always by my ably bodied assistant. I don't know what I'm talking about. My son Scott. Hello, Scott.
Ably bodied assistant.
I don't know.
Oh, there's two things wrong with that. One, I'm not ably bodied. Hello, Father. How are you?
Oh yeah. Well, it's been a day and a 3.5 and probably a quarter on the side of that as well.
Oh, bloody hell.
But everything apart from that is perfectly abysmal. So, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm dreading the fact that I made a promise to my son that the fact that I've got to take him on Wednesday, and I'm not looking forward to it because it's a bloody long walk.
Where are you
So
going?
I've taken him on a stadium tour of his favourite football club and
Why?
made them a. Why? Because it was his birthday and he wanted to do it, and
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
so. And it's only then when I realised the fact that he's a long walk around the stadium. But I was like,
What
So
team is that?
Arsenal.
Arsenal. So you're going to the Emirates for the day,
Yeah,
eh?
so I'm going up to the Emirates and then I've got to do the tour around there and then get home. And
I went to the Emirates once.
yeah.
Yeah. Many long moons ago, I auditioned for the X Factor.
Okay.
I went to the O2 and I got through the initial audition there, and then I went to the Emirates and failed the audition there. So um that of course is the one before you get to do the TV audition.
Yes.
So, you know,
Yeah. So
there
I'm,
you
I'm
go.
looking. I am looking forward to it, but I just know it's going to be a long day. So
Hello or something.
yeah.
Right, shall we get on with it?
Yes.
This is a special episode where we are reviewing 5 short films, all made this year by a group of people who collectively are known as the Hounds of the Round Table. And after we've done the review of the 5 films, we will have a short interview with
Yes.
one of the main men, Ryan Jones. So, here we go. The first film that we watched is called Giraffe.
Yes.
The synopsis for this says, a man watches the documentary on the giraffe killings, but it couldn't possibly be real, could it? Well, it's a very odd story and a very odd film. I really didn't know what to expect when I saw the name Giraffe, or even after reading anything. It's not badly made or acted, and it works well within its own framework, but it's a bit too, for me, it's very short and there's not enough of a background story to it.
Yeah. You've got the little bit of the obviously a little bit of a story at the beginning. So I did the same thing. I looked at the name of this and read the synopsis, and I was like, oh, I wonder where this is going to go. Um, I did like it though. Yes, like you said, the acting wasn't bad. The cinematography was all right. It was great. It was good. Yeah, it was one of them things that I think it needed a little bit. I think for me just to sort of explain a little bit more. But it
Yeah,
was still a good film to watch. I still enjoyed it. It was just, and it's a, I don't know. It's a very bizarre film, I suppose, because it's not what I was expecting. But
no,
it's good. But I think it just needed a little bit more of a story to say what was going on and explain a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, it's as you say, it's not a bad film. It's not, there's nothing wrong with it as
Ah,
such. I just think it just needed a little bit more filling out.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. The second film is called Lost Lens. And synopsis for this says a photographer finds a lens abandoned in the woods. Is it his lucky day?
yeah.
What do you think?
See, I like this because of the fact that it's that not knowing what was going on and what was obviously the whole why it was left there. But I loved the contrast of what they did with the whole showing the different color contests. So obviously you have like normal what was going on, what he could see, and then through the camera you have the contrast of the camera light and the changing of the filters and stuff like that. And I genuinely like that, and
Yeah,
especially with the way the ending to it, or the bit near the end to it, with the slow fade of color truck and drain. I thought was amazingly done and very well done. I
yeah,
like this film. I like these films that sort of where it sort of leaves you with that whole what's going on? Why is it was it left there on purpose? Was it by accident? Was it
yeah.
like is it supernatural? Is it that's what's going on with it? And I love the fact that it gave me that more of a questions than answer bit.
I
And
mean,
I genuinely liked it.
I like the film. I think it was very good. I mean, it looks good. It's got a really good look to it, and the color changing thing works really well. Um, I do question this whole thing though. If you find something laying around in the woods, you just pick it up and walk off with it. You don't question why it's there or think that's odd. Um,
Yeah.
the other thing is, I mean, there are similar films about like phantoms, demons, spirits, whatever, showing up in photographs and that sort of thing. But I think it's very well done in this. The effects work really well, which makes
Yes.
it stand out from the other films of the same type. It's very well made and very well acted as well, actually. I think the acting was really good. Um, yeah, I really liked it as well. I thought it was a really good film.
Yeah. I like the fact that when especially when they were showing the what the photographs were taken, it wasn't obvious straight away, so it's something you had to focus on. You had to sort of pay attention to. And even when it started being pointed out a bit more, it still wasn't like massively in your face and straight away. And I like the fact it was that sort of tension build up of trying to figure out what was going on,
Yeah.
what happened. I'm saying I genuinely enjoyed it.
Okay. Third film is called Disposal. Now, this was written and directed by Jamie Roach. Synopsis. Oh, sorry, hang on. The cast is Andy Edwards and Mark Greensmith. It's one of the few of these films that have got the cast listed on it. The synopsis of this says the film follows a seasoned fixer hired to make a grim situation disappear. But even the most routine jobs come with complications.
Yeah,
I really like this film. I really I thought it was really good. It's well made, well acted. The story works well. And what I like about this is something that I found in quite a few short films, and I think it's important, is that given how short it is, the characters are really well developed and well drawn.
yes,
They're really kind of like believable characters.
yeah.
Um,
It's definitely it's saying how short this film is. The fact that with the character development they've got of it makes the story saying almost believable. It's that it's not the whole. It's a hot like sort of fantasy horror, if you know what I mean. It's more like it's something that you could believe would happen and could
yeah,
happen.
yeah, no, yeah. I just think that the characters work well within the story. It works really well as a story, and as I say, we found that in quite a few short films that people manage to make that whole kind of thing work
Yeah,
within such a short space of time. Okay. The fourth one is called Safe. And the synopsis for this says a couple with a warped idea of me and you time break into the wrong house.
yeah.
What do you reckon?
it was a very again, this is a film that left me with more questions or wanting to know what was going on, and I liked it, and it was. As I said, the acting wasn't too bad. The angles are good, and the sort of creepiness of the fact that there's not really much explained to what's going on. It's just sort of or what explain what happens, and I like that because it's like well, what, and it sort of left me at the end of it going, what did happen? What was going on?
Yeah,
I liked it, and as I say, it was. I don't know. For me, I think as well was the whole part of the film where it says the safe was bolted to the floor, and then you see what it was. I was like,
yeah.
but I get the fact obviously you can't get stuff like that on the like if you're making your own independent films. I still really liked it, and I genuinely saying I sat there, I really want to know more.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a pretty good film. I think it's well made and well acted. The effects were good. I thought the effects worked really well, and it works well as a story. But yeah, I know what you mean about the safe. For me, if it had been a bit bigger, I think I
Yeah,
would have been a bit more. But as you say, you work within the limitations of the budget and then time constraints and all that kind of thing, and you can only do what you can do.
yeah.
But no, I liked it. I thought it was good. Um, okay, the last one is called Meat.
Yeah.
The synopsis for this says an exclusive client and an even more exclusive menu.
Mm.
I really like this. It kind of, uh, I don't know how to say this without making it sound odd, but it kind of feeds into my kind of film.
Yes.
It's kind of something I really like the idea of. Um, it's a great story. It's only short and but it's well made. There are a couple of little bits of acting by different people that could possibly be said to be a little bit wooden, but I am being a bit picky there, to be honest.
Yeah. I know what you mean, but it's almost like just picking fault. There's a lot more good factors about it.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good film. It's a great film, a great short film. It works really well. I really like it. And I think all of these films, I mean, they're talking as far as I know about making it into like an anthology film.
Yeah.
So I think they'll all work really well depending on how they kind of mesh them together and how they make it work that way. But definitely worth a look.
Yeah, it's
And
going to be interesting to see how they're done it. If they combine them together and how they're going to do it. It's if they do it subtly or like if it's in your face or not. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to come of this.
yeah, no, so am I. Okay, so now we have the opportunity to have a chat with Ryan Jones from Hounds of the Round Table.
Yeah.
We are joined today by Ryan Jones from Hounds of the Round Table.
Hi everyone.
Yeah. Now, you make lots of short films at the moment. You're looking to make bigger films on Told. So let's start off. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about how you got to where you are now and how the Hounds came into being?
Yeah, absolutely. From young age, obviously, kind of the age-old story. Always wanted to be involved in film or something creative. Started off with acting lessons when I was younger, and then I kind of shifted over to realizing I'd like to be in a more, a more leading role, like directing or producing and things like this. And so, did film and media in college, and then a friend from college and I went to a meeting, met my business partner Will, as sort of a filmmaker creative meetup, and then once we met him, we tried to work on a project that stalled out. I was lucky enough to get a chance through the same friend who introduced me to Will to get onto a feature film for a sci-fi film shot in Liverpool called J1S. directed by Jay Cunningham, who's just a fantastic guy. And I was lucky enough to get like a boss piece of advice from him. He gave me a lift home one night, and he just turned to me and he was like, "Just make something. Just go and make a film. Just do something." So
Yeah.
that led to me emailing Will, and we got talking again, and we ended up making our first short film, The Law. And then it was like, oh well, we need somewhere to place this short film. We want to post it somewhere, and so Hounds of the Round Table was born from that.
Okay, cool. And you've got your own YouTube channel. Do you have a website as well?
In the in process, yeah,
Okay.
currently under construction.
Now, I've been told it was your idea to do this sort of collection of short films for
Yeah,
October.
yeah. Yes, I'm the one to blame for all the craziness. Yeah. So we made some short films, and then we made a web series called The Giraffe, which was kind of based on like it was a crime drama based in Liverpool. And then we had some private work relating to film, but we didn't. We had a couple of projects that we just couldn't get off the ground. Some were too ambitious, some just fell apart, and so we were really struggling for like a good 2 years there. And I also, during that time, I had the birth of my first daughter, so it was
Oh,
very much, like, on top of that, I'm trying to learn how to be a dad while trying to put films together, so it just wasn't happening. And then we really wanted to get back into it with something, you know, we've been thinking and thinking, and I just said to Will, I was just turning around one day and I was like, we should just do as much as we can for Halloween. I was like, we should just fill October with whether it's the shortest, like some of our smaller content that we've done this month, or some of our bigger pieces that are more story based. I was like, whatever it is, as long as it's horror themed and it's spooky, we should put it together. We should put it out there, and that can be our way back into it. And so that's why that came about.
cool. Now, I don't know. I mean, I don't know who it was who got in touch with me about this, about you guys, to be honest with you. But she was saying that originally that you were planning on possibly putting all of them into an anthology film. Is that going to be something you want to do?
Yeah. So that's the plan. I think at current runtime, we're a little bit short of kind of the feature film mark, but we're looking at compiling it all together, maybe putting it into some smaller festivals and just putting it out there as an anthology movie. There's with the main through line just being horror. Very condensed kind of thing.
Yeah, that's cool. I just looked it up. It's Sean Woods.
Yeah, so yeah, of course, and yeah, the person who would have contacted is Sean, who is Will's partner, and also has became just in the past couple of years really the third head of Hounds. Like me and Will would be lost without her. She helped so much, as you can see with the email and side of things, and the
Yeah.
promoting us and getting us out there. And she's a fantastic producer.
So, I mean, are you the short films you've made? How hands-on have you and Will been with those, or have been some of it been done by other people?
So me and Will we have directed every short film barring Disposal, which was actually the friend who I mentioned earlier who took me to the meeting where we both met Will. And so a long time friend, Jamie Roach, he's just came off like a very long term commitment, sort of videography job, permanent placement for a company. And so he's been wanting to make a short film for a long time, and he's got a lot of experience. And I said, so I was like, I sat him down, I gave him all my ideas for Halloween, and I said, you know, which one would you like? And so Jamie ended up directing it. We had a couple of guys who we wanted to direct some others, but it just didn't work out. But I was just on set yesterday with one of them for another film we're producing now for them. So it's, even the ones that fell through, we made some good bonds there.
So we've watched five of the films that
Amazing.
you've got up on YouTube at the moment. Are there more to come, or?
There is, there'll be one dropping as of the night we record this podcast. There'll be one dropping an hour from now, sort of a supernatural ghost story, and then we have a film now to release every day until Halloween. So four more films, and then we take our our well-earned break until like December. But yeah, so four more films. We have Drowned Rat tonight. Tomorrow we have The Door, a bit of a psychological thriller. We have a really fun one on the day before Halloween, the 30th, which is called Cut. Little bit meta horror, kind of Scream influence a little bit there. And we had some friends from Canada who were long time friends with now came over to see us this month. I just said to them, I was like, we've got to go out and shoot a film while you're here. We have to. So we've got an entire Canadian cast for this one movie,
Oh,
which is
cool.
quite fun. And then to end it all off on Halloween will be Hannah, which is my sort of big film. Will had Meat, which was his big one. Jamie had Disposal, which was a fairly big one, and I got Hannah, which is my big slasher short film. So yeah.
You
Cool.
see, you said there that one of them was inspired, by sort of an inspiration from Scream and stuff like that. So where's the rest of them? The ideas come from? Is there any inspiration that you've taken from other films, or are they all just random thoughts that have popped in your head?
Well, yeah. So I am. I mean, a lot of inspiration. When I decided that we should do this, it was immediately what can we pull inspiration from. Looking back at old ideas, we have things like Attack of the Lake Monster, which is obviously an old, like very old school throwback to Creature from the Black Lagoon. And we tried to, get that, 60s, 70s B movie style down. Um, and yeah, just lots of inspirations. Will is very much loves his A24, elevated horror stuff like that, as well as old school Nosferatu, a lot of Japanese stuff like Onibaba and things like this. Whereas I love slasher, I love like contemporary horror. So I'm all about Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. That's my bread and butter. So that's where we pulled a lot from. And then for things like Jamie's film Disposal, that I wrote the script for that, and that was actually inspired by a comic series called Sink. It's written by a Glaswegian fella, and it's an anthology series set in this town of Sink in Scotland. And so that was very much inspired by a specific issue of that comic book.
All right. That's cool. We I think we enjoyed all of the films. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's we enjoy watching almost all the films we ever watch. We enjoy it. I'm interested to know: are you going to do film a kind of overarching sort of story thing to link them together, or
So there's some that when you do watch them all, there is some loose references to the idea that they may all take place in one small area. There's some through lines with a few themes and a few actors in certain roles. Um, Specifically, the one we're releasing tonight will actually have um, some news reporters that were seen in another short film in that same short. So just little things like that. Not unto I love Trick or Treat, the anthology movie. Watch it every Halloween, but it won't. It's not as direct as that with that strong through line. It's just more loose.
right? Okay, that's cool. So, I mean, once you've done that and put it together as an anthology and got it out there to festivals and things or whatever you're going to do with it, where do you plan on going from there?
So we have a little film lined up to end the year out, and another very gory, kill-filled horror film, just to kind of cement that. We are luckily enough at the moment we're in talks with somebody who wants to produce another season of our web series, the crime drama, The Graft. So that looks like it'll take up a large portion of next year. But around that, I'd like to probably get two or so short films under my belt, focusing on horror, because as I say, it's the main thing that I love, and through that, hopefully, in an ideal world, around 2026, 2027, there's been talks of us putting together our first feature, which would be a really big, just let's do a full horror feature, full indie horror, and let's just go for it over the summer of 2026, 2027.
Cool. That sounds good. Whereabouts are you based? Making the films.
So yeah, we live in Liverpool. Will is from Hull. I'm born and raised in Liverpool. Will came down here for uni and ended up staying. Lives here now with Sean, who's also from Liverpool, and so we're all based in Liverpool. And yeah, like I say, we shoot a lot of our stuff in Liverpool. Occasionally, we'll go out into over the water or just a bit out if we need some, a bit more woodland or something like this, or some countryside. But for the most part, we're based inside of Liverpool.
Right. Okay. I'm sorry. Um, I can't remember. There was a question I'm looking to ask, and I can't remember the life of me what it was. My brain is not working very well. I'm getting old. That's the trouble. Um,
So while Dad's thinking about it, so what, as you said, you've done series, you've done horror, you've got massive influences in horror. What would you say is you find easier to either write or shoot? Would it be the horror side of it or the other genres you do?
You know, funnily enough, while I love horror, I genuinely think I found it easier when I made me crime drama series, The Graft. It's very strange. Like I look back on that, it was very much influenced by, I grew up in some rougher areas, and you know people in the street or down the road, and you just look at them and you hear them going off every day, and you just think, wow, what a different life they must live. And some more personal stuff to home that's inspired it, and I think just all those influences, having heard it and being around it so much in life, putting it down to paper was so much easier. Where I find when we do a horror film, it's draft after draft of us refining it and worrying about whether the dialogue sounds fluid and realistic. So and I think that just comes from because I love horror so much, and while I've watched a lot of it, I haven't had a lot of opportunities to work on other people's horror films. Most of the people's horror films I've worked on have been sci-fi or comedy or drama, and so when it comes down to it with the horror, I'm like always a bit, probably a little bit neurotic when it comes down to where I'm still refining it. I'm still trying to get it down. I'm still trying to master the craft of giving people a good scare.
that's fair enough. Um, I still can't remember what I asked. One of the things I want to ask you, but I do remember the other thing, which was I was interested to know where the idea came from for Giraffe.
So it's the simplest idea out of all of them, to be honest. The funniest story. I'm glad you asked that. As I say, I've got a young daughter. She's now 2 years old. My little best mate, and we live near, well, not too far from Knowsley Safari Park. We like to go for a good few day outs there, and obviously, at the end of a good day out, you've got to go to the gift shop and let them buy something for a silly amount of money that it's just not worth that. So I paid like nearly £20 for this terrible little giraffe mask that you see in the film, and she's wearing it on the bus home, and I'm just staring at her, tired from a full day out, and I was just looking, and I was like, "That's kind of off putting. I don't really like this mask," and it just spiraled from there. With giraffes, long necks, it just kind of
Yeah,
developed.
no, it was just it was when I saw the title, I thought, "What's this gonna be?" And then I sort of watched it, and I thought, "Well, I wasn't really expecting that. That was kind of strange."
Yeah, I've got to admit, I did the same thing. We've watched over the years we've done this. We've watched some very bizarre films and films that, when with the title, it sort of gives a bit away with what's going on. But with this, I just read the title and I'm like, okay, I've read the synopsis as well too, and I'm like, that really doesn't help either. And
Yeah,
then watching the film, and I sat there like, especially like the end of it, I was like, that's not what I was expecting. It
Yeah,
threw me completely, and I loved it.
amazing. No, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was a strange one. That was actually the first film we shot out of all of them. That was the very first shoot. So yeah, it was a strange way to come back after 2 years. Me and Will were kind of standing there looking at each other like, "Are we doing it right? Is this right?" But clearly, it's got an audience.
it was an interesting film to watch. It was an interesting introduction into your films because I saw that and I thought, "Well, what are the rest going to be like?"
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
It was good. It was good. But yeah, as I say, we enjoyed all of the films. Uh, um, we hope that you do well with these films and that you go on to make the anthology and that does well and that you get the chance to make the feature that you want to make eventually. We put links up as we always do to your YouTube channel and to the films and things like that so that people can go and have a look and follow you and see where you go.
Oh,
Like I
guys,
say,
listen.
best of luck with everything.
No, thank you very much. We appreciate all the support, and we appreciate you having me come on here and be able to talk about where we come up with the craziness.
It's no problem. We always like to, talk to independent filmmakers. Not only because it helps you guys to sort of like get things out there, but it also helps us because the fact that it's nice to talk to people who make films rather than just reviewing them all the time.
No, absolutely, it's good. It's amazing. Yeah, no, it's
Okay,
a really great what you guys are doing.
thank you. Right, so everybody watching, check out Hounds of the Round Table on YouTube, and look out for them wherever you see films and things, and festivals and all that kind of stuff. And we will put links up to their stuff. In the meantime, we will see you again soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
The Sciforror Film Podcast.